Hello everyone, and welcome to more r/entitled people. We've got 4 stories for you today. In the first one, Karen calls the cops on a person of color for having a white friend. The second one is about OP encountering a creepy guy in a library. The third one is about an entitled famous person. And in the last one, OP intimidates and scares off an entitled guy with his firearm. And if you haven't yet, consider subscribing, and this banana-fearing cat might one day find peace. So this story actually has a brief update post to it as well, so we'll be reading that afterwards too. This one is called Entitled Woman Calls the Police Because I Have a White Friend. I'm a 15-year-old black teen. I never in my life thought that I would have to post to this subreddit, and yet here I am. To create some context, I have a white friend. I'm gonna call her F throughout most of this story. We've been friends since I was 6 years old, so we know each other pretty well. It was a great day, and we were taking a walk on a trail near our city park. Seemed like nothing was going to happen, right? Here comes the Karen. Karen thought something was wrong when she saw the sight of us, so she went out of her way to ask my friend if something was wrong. Of course, she said no. She asked again, this time asking if she was being told to say that. Keep in mind, Karen's hexspawn, who looked about 5 or 6-ish, was repeating everything that she said with, yeah, insert whatever the Karen said. I get mad when I'm discriminated against. However, I've been raised well enough to keep my cool, contrary to common belief. Again, my friend says no. The Karen asks one more time, and this time I have to step in. I say, why are you asking this? Karen replies, well, because of your skin. I interrupt with, say it, I'm black. Well, yes, she responds. So I say, you really need to mind your own business. I'm trying to protect this child, she says. And then someone who we'll call Nice Person was listening in on this and decided to step in. He was also white. Nice Person says, I really don't think you should be talking to this kid like that. Karen responds, shut up. This isn't any of your business. I'm calling the police. Honestly, I had the local police on speed dial, so it looked like I was going to first. Karen calls the police. Hello? I would like to report a kidnapping. The police showed up pretty quickly as they were right next to the trail. My friend explains the situation pretty well, so I'm not in trouble. The police leave a moment later with Karen in tow. What Karen said next before she left honestly broke me. You shouldn't make friends with people like them. You know they're criminals. At this point, I'm this close to crying. Do I feel sorry for her? If you want the answer to that question, try asking me if I should be sorry for her. So if it wasn't clear when OP said that the police left with Karen in tow, she actually did get arrested apparently, because it says here in the TLDR that it ended with Karen in a police car. And this brings us to the update to this story. Okay, so my family and I decided to press charges for harassment because, well, duh. We went to court a few days ago, and when this lady saw us, she went berserk, saying that she was going to win this case, yada yada. The case starts, and we explain to the judge what this lady did. They present the police call as evidence to support us. And trust me, Karen's face went redder than a red bell pepper. When she gets her turn to speak, she immediately went on to say I sexually harassed her, and she was worried about the safety of the child. My friend was there to testify that I wouldn't let a fly touch her. Her whole family was also there, including her dad, who was the local Mormon church's bishop, so if I wasn't a good person, he wouldn't let me get near his daughter. He gave me a character witness, which was enough to prove I was innocent. When they asked the lady for any proof, she immediately changes her condescending tone to a shy one. No, she says, then changes back to a condescending tone. But I demand he be arrested for child endangerment. The judge wasn't hearing any of it and had her pay a hefty fine and a boatload of community service. So women with weird haircuts, if you're out there, smile, you're on Reddit. It amazes me that she thought she even had any chance in the world to get OP arrested and charged with anything. It was obviously just a couple teenagers on a walk, but apparently she was just that consumed in her racist mindset that she couldn't really even see otherwise. It's really sad that OP had to deal with this at such a young age too. This story's titled, Entitled Dude Thinks He Should Use My Laptop Cause I Was at the Library. This happened in 2019. I have an exam in a week, so I went to the library to find textbooks and other resources to study for it. It was a closed book exam, but we were allowed a 2-page singular cheat sheet, so I was planning to type everything on a Google document that my friends and I can all print out before the exam. So I was trying to finish the lessons that I was assigned to do for the cheat sheet, and luckily I found a table at a secluded area of the library. I sit there for a good 45 minutes to an hour when I hear someone clear their throat rather loudly. Enter Entitled Dude. Entitled Dude says, excuse me, you have been using that computer for more than an hour now. You need to let other people like me use it. The library computers are on the other side of the level, over there. Points in the general direction. No, I don't want to walk all the way over there. Just give me this one. This is my own laptop. Get your own. This pissed him off, apparently. He tried to take my laptop, which I moved out of the way, which caused me to push my stationery to fall on the floor, causing a loud thud. This causes the librarian to walk over. Librarian asks, "What's going on here?" Entitled dude replies, "This girl is hogging the computer and not letting me use it to check my emails." I say, "This is my own laptop and not the library's." The librarian looks at my sticker-covered laptop and says, "Yes, sir, that is her laptop and not the library's. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave as you are disturbing other readers." Entitled dude huffs and walks out the library. I left the library about 5 p.m. as the library had to close early for their reasons. I saw the same dude waiting outside the damn library. He stood outside the library for an hour. I saw him and decided to walk out the other way around the library building and walked home. Halfway home, I had to make a turn at a road corner that had a mirror for cars to see if anyone is turning. I look at it and found the guy following me. I sprinted across the bridge and all the way home. To this day, I still don't know what the heck this dude's problem was. Like, he followed me out of the library because I wouldn't let him use my laptop? Like, what the heck? Yeah, this story started off just seeming like some entitled dude that couldn't tell the difference between someone's personal computer and a library computer, but by the end, it turned into something a lot creepier than that. A lot of people in the comments seem to agree that this is pretty alarming. This person says, "Yeah, major creep alarms going off. He was clearly after something else besides your laptop. I am very glad you got home safe." Another person says, "If he just wanted the laptop, he would have made a move much sooner. My vote is mentally ill." Or this one, "It sounds like he wanted to steal OP's laptop. He probably stalked them so he could mug them when the opportunity arose." So obviously we could speculate all day on what this guy was actually up to, but nonetheless, it probably wasn't anything good. And here's a short and sweet one. This one's called, "Do you know who I am?" My friend's mom is a customs officer in a large British international airport. Customs officers are the ones who check your bags for prohibited items and things you need to pay import tax on. This includes my friend's mom and entitled singer. A few years ago, she was on duty when a famous singer came through customs. She stops him, no special allowance is given to famous people, and some of them even get caught with drugs. "Do you know who I am?" Entitled singer bellows. Friend's mom actually did know, but replies, "No, I don't. Do you know who I am?" Entitled singer is stumped by this question, and his confusion shows on his face. Friend's mom continues, "I am the officer who will arrest you if you don't cooperate." Entitled singer wisely chose to cooperate. Yes, just because you're famous, that automatically means you're exempt from getting your bags checked. This one's called, "Entitled man finds himself in an unexpected showdown with a gunslinger." I stopped at a gas station in another part of the country this morning and was reminded of something that happened to me at this very gas pump back in the mid to late 90s. If you've read my story about catching my wife with another man, this would have been about a year after the events of that story. I was on my way back to the office after being at the range all morning for semi-annual qualifications and stopped to fill up my car. If you're interested, it was a gray 79 BMW 320i. All of the pumps were in use except the one at the very end. I pulled up to the pump and started getting out of my car. Right as I was getting out, a large GMC 4-wheel drive diesel truck pulled right up behind me and like maybe a foot from my bumper. He then blew his horn at me. It wasn't the stock horn, but a loud air horn. This truck had a lift kit, big mud tires, light bar, winch, etc. This truck was either new or at most just a year or two old. It was a very expensive truck. Anywho, after blasting me with the air horn, the driver shouted out of his window, "Hey a-hole, move, I gotta fill up." I should note that at this gas station, the pumps only had gasoline except the last pump, where I was. This one had gasoline and diesel. He blew his horn again, but I just ignored him and started putting my card in the pump. At this point, he decided to climb out of his truck and confront me. "Hey a-hole, I'm talking to you. Move your piece of crap car right now." He was only about 5'8" or 1.7 meters, and maybe 140 pounds. He was pasty white with red hair. This kid couldn't have been more than 19 or 20 years old. He still had acne. Given the value of the truck he was driving, it was either daddy's truck or daddy had bought it for him. There is no way a kid could afford something like that. I live in rural North Florida. As you may know, it is always hot here, even during the winter. We only get a few weeks of cool weather and very little actual cold weather. Well, it was late January and it was only about 50 Fahrenheit, 10 Celsius. I really love trench coats. I think they look cool, but because of our weather, I rarely get to wear them. This was a chilly day and I had been outside all morning, so I was wearing one of my favorites. As this kid stepped away from his truck to approach me, I simply turned to face him. I never said a word. I stood square to him, with my feet about shoulder width apart. I pulled back my trench coat with my right hand revealing my badge and sidearm. I quickly tucked my coat tail behind my holster and lowered my hand down to my side. Yeah, I was doing my best Old West gunfighter look. I know, it sounds silly, but I was much younger then, and my very busy life didn't give me much chance to be cool. Or at least what I thought was cool. So when an opportunity like this arose, I took full advantage of it. The kid stopped mid-threat and just stood there for a second. He was about 8 feet in front of me. His freckled face turned even wider and his mouth just hung open. Then he stumbled backwards toward the door of his truck. He stuttered out apologies as he scrambled up into his truck. I just stood there looking at him like a statue, never moving. He threw it into reverse and left. He didn't just move somewhere else, he completely left the gas station. As he pulled out onto the road, a huge black cloud billowing from his tailpipe, I heard a cackling sound coming from beside me. I looked over, and the lady on the other side of the pump was laughing her head off. She said, "That was the funniest thing I've ever seen. I think he crapped his pants." I smiled at her as I pulled my jacket back down. She stepped over to me with her hand up for a high five. We exchanged an enthusiastic high five and a couple of good laughs. I still have that trench coat, but not the BMW. I love that old car. If this is how things actually happened, I can certainly understand how OP would find this so satisfying. I think a lot of us would find some pleasure in being able to intimidate some douchebag like this. I was wondering what he was when he mentioned that he had a badge, and down in the comments he actually says, "I was a cop, then after many years in uniform, I moved up and became a systems analyst for the department." And that was r/entitled people. As always, if you enjoyed, drop a like and subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Stay awesome, and I'll see you next time.